A trip to Louisiana is not complete without a stop in New Orleans to stroll down Bourbon Street. It is a caricature of culture, a gaudy pageant of burlesque, booze, and beads. And while tourists join in the festivities all year round, the sports-crazy natives like to party it up one season at a time. It was only a few months ago in nearby Baton Rouge when they gathered at LSU to celebrate their biggest season in recent history and to catch a glimpse of the spectacle known as the Stro Show. Everywhere you go, somebody knows Stro.
Okay, I love you.
Yeah, you too.
See you, Stro.
Even deep in the heart of football territory, the greatest of Louisianan passions, Stro Miles Swift still draws an adoring crowd.
The Stro Show.
Stro Miles' ascendance to LSU fame began in nearby Shreveport, where he was born and raised. Although it's only a few hours off campus, Stro Mile had to come a long way to get there.
That's why I grew up at, right here.
His journey began in the neighborhood known as Queensboro.
It's tough. Hood. And this was the little neighborhood store right here. Played video games and pool.
It was best to be off the streets in those days, when violence was becoming commonplace.
Paramedics worked desperately to save the life of this young shooting victim at Bilberry Park.
I had to be told, get it!
I'm taking it, man.
In 1990, the community was devastated by the murder of 17-year-old Doug Williams in nearby Billsbury Park. Williams was a standout athlete at the high school that Stro would eventually attend. A gifted young man, he was shot in the head for being in the wrong place at the wrong time.
You can't just keep on running around, shooting up, killing up each other. Then there won't be any of us left.
A rash of drive-by shootings on their street prompted the Swift family to pack up and move to Morningside.
Okay, let me show you the goal. The goal. That's why I learned how to play it. Right here on this goal. I used to come down here every morning. Just play. Hey, and we used to have like little tournaments. And this is our old house. You know what? I planted that tree right there when I was like 11 years old. That's my elementary, my middle school. I used to get in trouble all the time until I started playing basketball.
To hear Stro's mother, Mary, tell it, he wasn't bad, just busy.
He had plenty of energy.
Nobody knew that better than his older sister, Shan, who used to take care of Stro Mile and his younger brother, Pete, while their mom was at work.
My uncle made the comment once that Stro Mile, when he was small, he would tear up a steel ball. He would tear up everything. He was terrible. I used to cry.
He had to get a whooping every night before he go to bed.
I think it was like 2 a day.
Like training camp?
Worse than training camp.
Were you afraid of her?
Yes, sometimes. But I used to laugh at her sometimes. She used to get mad because I used to get away from her. I used to run out the house. She couldn't catch me.
I heard he used to walk around outside till he thought she wasn't mad anymore.
It works sometimes. I hope she forget, but sometimes I used to go in there, she used to be waiting on me behind the door.
Being a single parent, I had to play the mama role and the daddy role and let them know that he did have somebody behind him. It was unique, really, really unique. I felt like even through his badness or mischievousness, you know, he was still a good kid. A lot of people mistook him because of his size and really gave him a hard time.
I got a little football skills too.
The friends that he grew up with still give him a hard time.
Nah, he was a lanky little skinny son. He was skinny. And when he first got real adept to basketball, he had some 1965 Converse on. The Magic Johnson with the big afro, with the afro and stuff. With the shorts come way up here. We used to call him Air Cone. Oh, y'all should have saw, man.
By the time Stro reached the 9th grade, he was about 6'5", but having played organized basketball for just 1 year, his skills hadn't caught up with his stature.
Back then, a lot of people didn't think you'd make it.
I can't count them. I can't count on my hands. So a lot of them didn't believe.
What did they say about you?
I was skinny, slow, couldn't jump.
Couldn't jump?
Couldn't walk and chew bubble gum at the same time. All that kind of stuff.
It wouldn't be long before Stro found a way to prove them wrong.
This is my high school. I used to drop by 30 a game. That's when I was good.
There are still quite a few reminders of the glory days back at Fair Park High School.
That's my jersey right there.
The plaques, the banners, and a lot of memories.
I broke this goal twice in the same week.
But before Stro was All-American, he was pretty much just all arms and legs.
About 6'5", maybe 130 pounds soaking wet, you know, large feet and everything, you know, kind of awkward looking, but he wasn't as awkward as he was looking.
Ken Prude was an assistant coach who spent almost every day with Stro working on his skills.
Could you tell back then that he had special physical gifts?
Maybe the middle of his freshman year, you can see the potential that he had, you know, if he really worked hard.
In high school, we had this little thing called CCP. And it was called, we called it the Coach Calhoun program. Like, we used to go outside, put on air, because everybody, they were always able to jump higher than me, run faster. So I just wanted to work hard. I just wanted to, catch up with everybody. So they had these, little sleds, and they put weights on the back. Then we used to, run 100 yards and run back with the sleds on. Then we had, hurdles, track hurdles. Then we used to do vertical jumps, so 5 sets of hurdles. And I just kept doing it, and it just helped.
It helped him explode onto basketball radars all over the country. By his senior year, he was considered one of the nation's top 5 high school prospects. But before he could play in college, he had another hurdle to clear: the SAT. It took him several months to pass and qualify for the scholarship that LSU had waiting. But for almost half a season, while the team played, he studied.
I think that was one of the things that let me know that this guy was determined to be successful, because he could have easily given up and put his hat in the an NBA ring right then. Well, I just stop taking these tests and I just go on and make a few dollars or whatever. But he wanted to play college basketball, because he knew he needed to, just to learn for a couple of years on how this game is being played, and just get to that next level. And he just the determination and just the will to just keep trying and keep trying. That was a big influence.
Hey, there, little daddy. We'll see you, man. Hey, good luck to you, bro.
He might have preferred to stay in school, but the NBA provided an opportunity to give back to the people who helped him.
Do you feel like you owe a lot of people?
People, my high school coaches and my mom, they always tell me that I don't owe anybody nothing, but to me, I feel like I owe them because they were there for me when I didn't have anything.
People like Reginald Washington, a Shreveport police officer who became both a coach and a mentor.
What's up? What's up, baby? Nah.
That's his dad, Stro.
My father wasn't around. Like, he wasn't there, like, if I needed a pair of tennis shoes or school clothes or school supplies. But Reginald, he was just there for me.
What was your first impression of him as a basketball player?
My first impression.
First impression? I need to hear this stuff. I need to know what you think.
Short on words, he was big on influence.
Reginald actually played the father role. His friend, his mentor, just somebody to be there for him when he really needed somebody, and Reggie was that person. Reggie was the man in his life.
I see y'all when y'all come up there.
But aside from his brother Pete, Stro is surrounded by females in his family, including his adoring niece.
What's my name?
Stro.
What my name is?
Stro.
Almonique is named for another strong female presence in Stro's life.
Hey there. My grandma stayed right here. We all used to go on Sundays, and she used to cook like big meals. You seen soul food? Yeah. It's just like that. Going to Big Mama house.
Her death clearly left a void.
When she passed, like everybody, like they stopped coming around. So we just, and my mom, she tried to do what my grandmother did, but it just wasn't the same. So we just had to just stay together and just do what we could.
This is one of his favorites. This is what I call Mama Liz smothered steak. Me and my kids kind of grew together, you know, because it was just us. Even though we had family members, it was just the four of us, and it really made us close.
You're very affectionate with your mom. You have a pretty good relationship.
Yeah.
What has she given you?
Everything I needed. She didn't give me all I wanted, but I always had what I needed.
I tell people this all the time. We were poor in material things. We didn't have a lot of things that all the other kids had, but spiritually, we was rich.
So you do good, you do the same thing. Yeah, no,
He finna go to Vancouver. You ain't gonna see him for a long time.
you be good here.
All right.
Don't let me have to bring my switch up there.
Nothing but them to keep me from you.
The Stro show before he goes.
Yeah. We're gonna miss you.